Welcome back, everybody. It's Mario from Highlander TCG, and I come to give you guys my Race Center No Limit deck profile. This is just wrapping up the set 3 decks. This is pretty much just what I've been testing so far, and we're just going to go straight into the deck list here. Anybody who wants the deck list, here you guys go. You guys can screenshot it, do whatever. If you guys want to stick around, we're going to go and talk about the list. But we're going to go ahead and crack down on the Elric deck. So we're playing Harana on stage. This is Vanish a level 2 or less Signy. We're playing the Akino level 1 that bounces a level 2 or lower Signy. The reason why we're playing this is because there is no good assist that pluses you for level 1. The Akino level 1 can only grab red and white cards, and then we don't have access to the Ray. And the Harana one is fairly mediocre. Only draws you one or enter charges you one, and then it can steal an opponent's enter. But that can only complicate more things because it can turn on their Xeno cluster, and it doesn't plus you a lot, so it's not really digging you any further that you would want. Ray was easily the best plussing assist rig that just lets you draw two, but we don't have access to that. So I've decided to play the fully aggressive level ones assist rigs. And then for the level twos, we're running the Akino piece. This is a very common one. Just pay two, bounce something. You can pay an additional white and a colorless to get a servant back. We're generally only using the pay two bounce just because we're trying to play cost effective and cheap. But the add a servant does come up sometimes with the amount of white that we're running in the deck. We're only running 4 plus technically the colorless of the servants. But we're never really looking to aim to do that. But we'll talk a little bit more on it later. This is to support Ray's effect. Because Ray does have the ability to make your opponent discard cards equal to the amount that you discarded, and so this just gives us an additional way to either dig through our deck or have a combo with Ray. So let's go ahead and talk about Ray here. So Ray has the ability at the beginning of your attack phase. If you drew 2 or more cards due to card effects, you can pay a blue colorless, and if you do, put target level 2 or less Signy to the bottom of your opponent's deck. Has the on play to draw enter charge 1, and then you can down up to 2 of your level 2 L rigs. Discard your hand, and your opponent would discard the same amount that you discarded this way. So Ray supports basically you drawing cards by card effects. That's where we're playing a lot of like the looting cards, and a lot of draw effects in this deck. It pretty much shafts you into playing like a more heavy draw reliant deck. But overall, the condition is fairly easy to get off. We can usually get this off every single turn. The once per game can steal a couple of games here and there. You can if you know your opponent is like has an abundance of servants, you can have like a 6 card or maybe even a 5 card hand and then just rip it all out. The deck plays fairly similar to Madoka in that it's kind of like this blue mid range deck with mix of other colors. But because it's in no limit, we do have access to a lot of powerful cards, and we'll talk a little bit more on that later as well. And then deck building has quite a bit more options than you would actually think. I do believe that the deck building for this can go in a couple different directions in terms of like the numbers and how you decide to choose what Signy you're playing in the main deck. So let's go ahead and talk about what's new. We have Squid, which is Harmony for 1 white Elrig, so you have to rest one of your white Elrigs in order for it to come in the field untapped. As the auto ability at the beginning of your attack phase, you can draw a card, and then auto once per turn, whenever you discard one or more cards by card effect, your opponent has to discard a card at random. So once again, just kind of funnels you into playing the whole discard draw engine. But a very good card for this kind of engine. And this card, plus any other draw Dutch effect, can turn on Ray, which is pretty nice. The next card is Thrilling. While using this spell, you can exceed for 4, which means you can remove 4 cards from under any of your Elrigs. In addition to its cost, you can draw 2 and discard 1, and if you paid the exceed 4, you get to draw 3 instead. This card is what kind of makes the deck tick. It's pretty strong. Honestly, it's a card I'm considering bumping to even 3 or 4, but 2 copies have been working out fine for me. When you do get to pay the exceed cost for 4, it does feel pretty nice to draw 3 Dutch 1. You just get a lot of card advantage with this kind of card. Next, we're playing Armlight. So this is our folklore clone of choice. I've talked about this in quite a bit of my videos. I'm pretty sure I've talked about every single one. Not too sure. But has the life first to target up to 2 Signy on your opponent's field, and they can't attack, and you get to draw a card. So this is our choice for the white slot, and we're not playing a lot of white, and this is the card I decided to put in. Because I do think the effect is very powerful. If you are on a more blue focused deck, you can play Folklore very easily. You can even play Trouble. But Armlight is just the card that I chose because I just needed a fix for white, just to maybe get that Akino effect off every now and then. And so far, it's been doing pretty well in that regard. And then as for Hirana Stamp and Sungo Wecross, we already talked about this, very synergistic with Ray. Hirana Stamp is just a solid assist rig overall, has that weird floodgate effect that can maybe stop like battle phase removal. But most of the time we're just using it to pay one to kill a lane. And then yeah, now we can move on into the next cards here. So these are the pretty much the rest of the deck. The only card I haven't put in here is the bronze because it's just a dual color, not much to talk about there. But 4 Regalicus, 4 Godkill, and 3 Hecate. Um, so these are the level ones of choice pretty much. You pretty much need to play Regalicus because not only does the deck need a little bit more draw power with the life burst, but the draw ditch is pretty mandatory for this kind of deck. And same goes for Godkill, a very solid card overall, has a good trigger, and then double filter is very good. This is a one card, um, or not even a one card enabler, but it definitely helps assist the archetype more. And then Hecate was my non-trigger blue of choice. This can be a couple of things. You can maybe run more defensive Signy, but I do like Hecate. I do like the ability to stack the deck, finding the pieces that you want. Checking 3 cards is quite a bit in this game, just due to the fact that you only have a 40 card deck and you start off the game with 12 cards out of your deck. So Hecate is just a good way to dig for the pieces that you need. And then we have 3 Rose Quartz, 4 Lancelot, 4 Deafening Inferno. We are no limit, so we have to abuse the red cards where we can. Rose Quartz is just solid. Also has the double filter effect if you need to find like your servants. Lancelot, all around good card. No red deck wouldn't be running this without Lancelot. Pretty much, Lancelot is just like a mandatory 4 of in every red deck. And then 4 copies of the Inferno. Because we're no limit, I do want to be able to abuse as much as possible. There are a lot of lists that do run random drain, but I feel like using or abusing a deafening inferno while you're in no limit is like kind of like a must. Being able to vanish 10Ks in the early game is just a very strong thing to do. However, this can be taken out for other stuff, like I said, like the random drain, because we are playing aggressive level 1, so lane opening in the early game isn't as hard. But I just feel like with the trigger and the card itself, Deafening Inferno is just like too powerful card to pass up on. And so yeah, just wrapping up the deck here. I didn't really put in a segment for other options because you're in red, blue, and white. There's so many cards that you can have access to. You can run Hijikatas, you can run more white with like Arcwinds and Haniels. Other than that, I've been feeling like it's been working out fairly well. But let me know what you guys think of the list. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next deck profiles that are coming up.